Welcome back to the first year chemistry. We shall go for the next chapter, that is structure of atom. So in this chapter, first we will see the discovery of fundamental particles. Discovery of fundamental particles. The next one, the fundamental particles that we use, that we study. In this one are the electron, proton and neutron. So this is the first concept that we study. The second one is different theories. Different theories to explain the structure of atom. Structure of atom. Then along with these different theories, we will study the limitations also. Then we have the different concepts like black body radiation, and then we study the Planck's theory, then we study the hydrogen spectrum, and the last concept that we study is quantum mechanical model. Quantum mechanical model for the structure of an atom. Once we study this quantum mechanical model, based on that one we study this orbitals, then the quantum numbers. Then while using these quantum numbers, we study various rules to write the electronic configuration. So these are the topics that we study in this particular chapter, that is the structure of atom. So let us take one by one. First let us take this discovery of the fundamental particles. When we go for the discovery of the fundamental particles, there are three fundamental particles that we come across mainly. In physics there are so many other fundamental particles used like positron, etc. But for the structure of an atom we study only three fundamental particles. The first one is discovery of electron. This is done by J.J. Thomson. When we consider this discovery of the electron, this Thomson used a discharge tube. This is a hard glass tube closed at both the ends. There is a connection to the vacuum pump, etc. So this is the rough diagram for a discharge tube. There are two electrodes, one is cathode, the other one is anode. So this is the cathode, this is anode. That is, anode carries a positive charge, while cathode carries a negative charge. Now we have to take a vacuum pump attached to this one. This is vacuum pump. To remove the gas or decrease the pressure of the gas inside this vessel or discharge tube, we have to connect this to the vacuum pump. Here we have to take any gas. The pressure of the gas is maintained at very low. So it is maintained at low pressure. Then this cathode and anode, they are connected to a high voltage source. So this is battery, which provides a very high voltage. Assume that the pressure maintained is about 10 millimeters of mercury and high voltage of about 10,000 volt is being applied. Maintain a low pressure, apply a very high voltage, then we observe that certain radiations are emitted from the cathode and moving towards the anode. So we can write these radiations like this. We observe that the radiations are emitted from the cathode moving towards the anode. Since they are emitted from this cathode, they are named as the cathode rays. Cathode rays. There are some characteristics for these cathode rays. So those characteristics are the first one. When we consider this cathode rays, they are moving from cathode towards the anode in a straight line. So cathode rays move in straight lines from cathode to anode. Cathode to anode. Suppose you keep some light paddle wheel in the path of this cathode rays. Then we observe that these cathode rays will rotate the wheel of the paddle. So a light wheel paddle is rotated, indicating that this cathode rays consists of particle matter. So only when there is a matter present in that ray, then only they can rotate the paddle wheel. Then the next characteristic point is, these cathode rays deflect in electric and magnetic field, indicating that they carry negative charge. So the charge possessed by these cathode rays, it is negative. The next one and most important one is, whatever may be the gas taken inside this discharge tube and whatever is the metal that is used in the preparation of the anode and cathode, irrespective of the metal and the gas, we observe that charge to mass ratio, this charge to mass ratio we call as E by M ratio, is always same irrespective of gas and electrodes. For example, whether you use the hydrogen gas, that E by M value remains the same. E stands for the charge, M stands for the mass. Then the E by M ratio will be having a particular value. If you change the gas, then also E by M will be same. That means all these gases are made of same particle, that is nothing but electrons. So the particles are named as electrons. In brief, you remember, there is a hard glass tube connected to a vacuum and two electrodes, cathode and anode, are connected to a battery which gives a very high electricity or high voltage. Then any gas is filled in this discharge tube, maintained at very low pressure and maintained or applied a very high voltage. Then we observe that certain radiations are emitted from the cathode and moving towards the anode. So these cathode rays these rays which are emitted from the cathode are called as the cathode rays. These cathode rays are having certain characteristic properties. Those characteristics are, they always move in straight lines from cathode to anode. And any light paddle wheel placed in the path, suppose I place a paddle wheel like this, then it is rotated by these particles, indicating that this cathode ray consists of the particle matter. Then these cathode rays deflect in electric and magnetic field in such a way that they carry the negative charge. That is, deflection in the electric and magnetic field indicates that they carry the negative charge. And whatever may be the gas taken and whatever may be the metals that are used in the electrodes, the charge to mass ratio is always remaining constant, indicating that all these gases and all these matter are made up of same particle carrying the negative charge, which are called as the electrons. So this is the discovery of the electron by J.J. Thomson. So in the next video we shall see that discovery of the protons and neutrons. Thank you.